So hi, I'm Chris. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Better Nature. At Better Nature, we make protein the better way. As is becoming increasingly clear, the world is in dire need of a sustainable and healthy source of protein. The multi-trillion-dollar livestock industry is responsible for more than half of global greenhouse gas emissions and drives 3/4 of global deforestation. And demand for protein is expected to double by 2050 to feed our rapidly growing population. Due to the pressures that we are placing on our planet's resources, we are at the brink of environmental collapse. Worse still, excessive meat consumption is the leading cause of heart disease and stroke. Combined, they are responsible for 45% of all deaths in Europe. In response to our growing environmental and health crisis, in the US and Europe, the number of vegans has increased by 6-fold in the last 3 years, totaling 6% of the population. And 60% of all consumers are looking to reduce their meat consumption. This surge in popularity in plant-based diets has been reflected in recent successes such as Beyond Meat. Since its IPO just 5 weeks ago, its valuation has increased by 3-fold, and the market shows no signs of slowing down as it is expected to take 1/3 of the total protein market by 2050. Large chains such as Burger King, McDonald's, and Carl's Jr. are all now stocking plant-based options. However, despite Beyond Meat's success, their products are beyond unhealthy. They are filled with more than 20 ingredients, including 8 ultra-processed binding and gelling agents to mimic the texture of meat. One burger has more than 20 grams of fat and 1/3 of your entire day's recommended intake of salt. We can do better, and we already have. At Better Nature, we are the world's first food tech company focused on tempeh fermentation, an all-natural fermentation technology that gives our products its meaty texture. We are developing proprietary non-GMO starter cultures to improve the protein content, taste, and texture of our food products. With our technology, you can make meat alternatives without any artificial or ultra-processed ingredients. Excitingly, we're currently working on the Better Burger, a delicious and nutritious, all-natural plant-based burger that is healthy. Our burger, when compared directly against Beyond Meat, contains less than 1/3 of the ingredients, less than 1/3 of the fat, and less than half of the salt content. Plus, it has the same quantity and quality of protein as beef. By eating our burger, you can help yourselves and the planet at the same time. And at a price that is highly competitive, our gross margins are healthy too. We're currently in early stage discussions with 3 retailers who combined have over 2,000 stores in the UK. And to launch our product, we are in early stage conversations with 6 high-profile restaurants in London. We are the team to make this venture a success. I graduated from the University of Oxford with a master's in biochemistry, and prior to graduating, I worked at McKinsey. My CTO and co-founder, Ando, is currently wrapping up his PhD in food science at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. He has won 31 awards for his work on tempeh fermentation, making him the leading scientist in the field. Since our founding just 8 months ago, we have won 2 international food tech competitions and have been admitted into 2 equity-free accelerator and incubator programs. We are now looking for 1.3 million euros to help us take our product into food service. With these funds, we can produce 3 tons of our product per week and generate more than 1 million euros in gross profit per year. But burgers are just the start. With our technology, you can make all sorts of meat alternatives. The better ribs, the better chicken strips, and the better beefsteaks, just to name a few. We are Better Nature, and we make protein the better way. Thank you very much. Yeah, so to demo, of course, here's some burgers I'd like you to try.
Some delicious demo.
I'm no chef, so please don't comment on the
Let me help
on
you.
the setup of the burger, but we are still in very early stages of development, but hopefully you'll be impressed. No worries. Oh, sorry, just a couple more.
One more?
No worries. Oh, one?
Everybody has one? Yeah, we have one judge missing, so.
Oh, I see.
Okay, don't put it there.
Do we have to eat now?
So questions, if you have any questions for Better Nature.
Yes. So the question was, what are we in terms of carbs? So we contain 9 grams of carbs per 100 grams, which is on the lower side. And these are all low GI carbohydrates. They are long-term release. They're actually healthy for you.
You can pass it from one to the other.
Do you believe that you can optimize for both taste and nutrition? I think, a way you may differ from the Beyond Meats of the world is that they optimized for taste and not having any traditional meat in it, and that was a big part of the success of the company. Can you talk about how you approach that optimization curve of both flavor, taste, and good for you?
Absolutely. So flavor, taste, and nutrition, how do we optimize for these 3 different things? The beauty of tempeh fermentation is that the taste comes as a result of the texture. So during the fermentation process, our starter cultures degrade and, in fact, enrich the nutritional content of the food, binding it in this meaty texture. And by so what makes meat taste like meat are free glutamic acids, right? Free amino acids. During the fermentation process, the starter cultures degrade the proteins, releasing these umami components. Thereby, we get the texture and the taste at the same time.
Kind of hard to put questions when you're eating.
Yeah, sorry.
So, any other questions? I'm curious myself. What do you think? Is it taste like meat?
First, Chris, thanks for the presentation. Really liked it. Why did you choose burger for your kind of go-to-market?
Absolutely. So the burger is probably the most widely consumed beef dish, right? And beef is the greatest perpetrator of climate change. So if we want to tackle the biggest problem and the biggest market, we need to go for some beef component, some beef product. We can go for mince, but that's just a cop-out, right? We want to go for something that's challenging, something that's ambitious, and the burger captivates people's imaginations like no other. Plus, the route to entry for a burger is easy. It allows us to retain our brand. We can with partnerships with retailers like McDonald's, Burger King, and the other players that I've named, we can reach a mass market with our products. You can't do the same with mince. You can't retain that same brand with a product that sort of dissolves.
And in terms of competitor, I mean, you just mentioned one. There are plenty of them. So
Absolutely.
I mean, they also started with burgers. So I'm curious why you. I mean, I understand why you follow this path, but again, it's more competition actually at the moment now in this kind of field.
Yes, but if the going gets tough, we can get, the tough get going, right? And if push comes to shove, we can absolutely pivot into other products. If we are able to master the texture of a burger, then mince, sausages, these are all much easier to emulate. From a technical perspective, at least. Yes.
Thanks for the presentation and for offering us the burgers. My question is around defensibility. Do you guys have patents around what you guys are doing? And also, because it's just a plant-based burger, and that's actually been around for a very long time, and tempeh as an ingredient for vegetarians has been around for a long time, and for vegans, obviously. How do you think about other competitors might also come to the space and do very similar things? Kind of going back to Christian's question as well, related to that, it's kind of like, Impossible Foods and Impossible Burgers have been around, and they have a very strong meaty-like taste to them despite not being made out of meat. How do you think about other people coming to the space with other plant-based, equally maybe healthy and tasty sort of options? How would you think about defending yourself against those sort of competitors in the future?
Right, so 2 questions. The first question was on IP, and the second question was on how do we defend ourselves against competitors, right? So on the IP side, yes, absolutely, the starter cultures are entirely patentable, right? These are things that we've been working on for a long time now, and we can build defensibility in the texture, the taste, and the nutritional content of our products based on the starter cultures that we're using, right? On how do we tackle incoming players? Yes, it's getting a really hot space, but the market's ginormous. The market's absolutely huge, right? There's not going to be one plant-based giant in the world. Even as big as Beyond Meat will get, or Impossible, I think there's plenty of space for many, many more players to get in. The livestock industry is $7 trillion in value, right? And if we want to see a planet for our children and our children's children, this $7 trillion livestock industry needs to shift in a dramatic way, opening up tons of opportunities for plant-based players, not just in meat, but in cheese and dairy and other dairy products like milk.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Big hand for Better Nature.